It's happened to you 1,000 times. You're mid-sentence and a word, a name, a title, something you absolutely know just vanishes. It's right there. You can feel its shape. You know how many syllables it has. You might even know the first letter. But the word itself refuses to come. It's on the tip of your tongue. And here's the part nobody stops to think about. How can you possibly know that you know a word while being completely unable to say it? How can your brain be certain the answer exists and simultaneously refuse to hand it over? That impossible little moment is a window into one of the deepest mysteries of the human mind, the strange fact that your brain knows things you don't. Let's break down what's actually happening in that frozen, frustrating instant. Psychologists have a name for it. They call it the tip of the tongue state, and it is one of the most studied phenomena in all of memory research because it exposes a secret about how memory is built. When you retrieve a word, you are not pulling out a single solid thing. A word in your mind is actually stored as two separate pieces. There's the meaning of the word, everything it represents, all its connections and associations. And then, stored separately, there's the sound of the word, the actual sequence of syllables your mouth needs to produce it. Most of the time, these two pieces fire together so fast it feels like one seamless act. But every now and then, the connection between them stalls. You've successfully grabbed the meaning, you know exactly what you're trying to say. But the pathway to the sound has jammed, and that gap, the meaning without the sound, is the tip of the tongue feeling. This is why the experience is so oddly specific. You often know the first letter, or the rhythm, or that it starts with a hard sound, because you've partially accessed the sound of the word. You've grabbed the edges of it, but not the whole thing. It's like trying to pull a book off a shelf and only getting 2 fingers on the spine. You can feel it's there. You just can't get a grip. But the real mystery is deeper than mechanics. The real mystery is the certainty. In that moment, you are absolutely, unshakably sure that you know the word, even though you can't produce a single sound of it. Where does that confidence come from? You have no evidence, you have no word, and yet you'd bet money that it's in there. This points to something genuinely mind-bending about how your brain works. A huge amount of what your brain knows, it knows without telling you. There is a vast layer of your mind that monitors your own memory, that can assess whether an answer exists somewhere in storage, all without actually retrieving the answer itself. Your brain is, in a sense, keeping a catalog of its own contents, and it can check the catalog even when it can't reach the book. Researchers have proven this in a way that should genuinely unsettle you. In experiments, they ask people obscure trivia questions. When someone can't recall the answer but insists it's on the tip of their tongue, the researchers give them a list to choose from. And overwhelmingly, those people pick the correct answer at rates far above chance. Their feeling of knowing was accurate. Some part of their brain had correctly assessed that the information was present and had reported that assessment as a feeling, a sensation of almost having it, long before the actual fact ever surfaced. Think about what that means. Your brain evaluated its own hidden contents and communicated the result to you not as a fact but as a feeling. And this is where it stops being about forgotten words and starts being about something much larger. That feeling of knowing is just one example of a phenomenon that runs through your entire mental life. Enormous portions of your thinking happen below the surface, out of view, and they only reach your conscious awareness as vague sensations. Intuition works this way, that gut feeling that something is wrong before you can explain why, that sense that you've met someone before, that flash of certainty about a decision that you can't quite justify. In each case, your brain has done a mountain of processing you never witnessed, and handed you only the summary, delivered as an emotion instead of an explanation, which forces an uncomfortable question about who's really running the show. You like to think of yourself as the one doing the thinking, the conscious you, weighing evidence and making choices. But the tip of the tongue moment reveals that the conscious you is more like a spokesperson receiving briefings from a vast silent operation happening backstage. The real work, the searching, the assessing, the deciding, often finishes before you're even aware a question was asked. You don't watch your brain find the word. You just wait, powerless, while it works, and then it either delivers or it doesn't, on its own schedule, whether you like it or not. So the next time a word dangles just out of reach and drives you quietly insane, try to appreciate what you're actually witnessing. You're catching your own mind in the act. You're seeing the gap between the part of you that knows and the part of you that's aware. For that one frustrating moment, the curtain slips, and you get a glimpse of just how much of your own mind is happening without you. And here's the final twist that memory researchers love. The harder you strain to force the word out, the more stubbornly it hides. But stop trying, walk away, think about something else, and it tends to pop into your head all on its own, minutes later, unbidden. Because it was never yours to summon, it was always going to arrive on its own terms. If that idea grips you, the notion that most of your mind runs without you, then you need to hear about the experiments where split-brain patients revealed they might have two separate minds inside one skull. That's the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and thanks for watching.